G'day, Steve Morgan here on a Friday afternoon in the offices of ABT and Fishing Monthly. You know what that means? It means that I probably should be ready by 5 in the afternoon for the two bass tournaments coming up. We've got the Somerset round sponsored by Crush City, and then we have the Wivenhoe round sponsored by X-Braid. And at the moment, if you have a bit of a look around here, this is actually all the prep I've done at the moment. I've got a few spin rods ready, I've got some lures out ready to go, but I am nowhere near prepared. But luckily, these tournaments are Monday, Tuesday event and a Thursday, Friday event. So I've still got another day before we have to go up there, pre-fish on the Sunday. First event Monday, Tuesday, second event Thursday, Friday. And it's bass. And the last time I fished Somerset was in the last tournament there. The last time I fished Wivenhoe was also in the last tournament there. So I've got a few new things to try. I've got a lot of new things to try actually, and I'm going to go through and show you a few of those this afternoon. And we've got a few other things to go through. Going to go through some of the Rapala Trophy Hunter stuff, and I'm going to go through some essential Barra Tour things that my teammate Nicole Smith has organised for us. So we'll get to that. Let's start off with some stuff that was launched at the trade show. I went next door into Rapala and I nicked one of every colour of their 3-inch heavy hitter. So that one there, that's called Ogre, O-R-G-E. I need my glasses on. Anyway, baitfish colour, laminate baitfish colour, white baitfish colour, green baitfish colour, chartreuse baitfish colour, black and gold slick rig knockoff, crazy pink one that I'm never going to use, and a pack of jerks left over from the last Brim tournament. So so I've got the 3-inch heavy hitters there, and how I've rigged that is I'm going to try that as just a rolling plastic bait that we normally use at Somerset. So that's that, I don't know what they call that colour. Shrek, brown, green, got one of the Dan Stead like 5/8 of an ounce or 3/4 ounce jig heads on there, on some braided leader on one of the 13 Fishing Fate rods. One thing I've done finally is, for the last few years since 13 Fishing's been a sponsor of the Bass Pro Series, I've always borrowed a set of rods, but I finally bought a set from the guys next door to get a pretty good price. So so I had to stop borrowing theirs. If I want to have a look at what I've got on these, let's go a little bit through what's on them so far. The first one, I've got that little heavy hitter on. Second outfit here, this is a straight through one with 3-pound line. I always take at least one brim outfit to the bass tournaments because I had that great time last year at Lake St Clair catching open water fish on 2 pounds straight through and stick minnows. So this is a Nomad Designs bait, this one here. When they sponsored around last year, I got a pile of Nomad Designs bait. So I'm going to try throwing that to some of those suspended fish, just like a large stick minnow, see if I can wobble it through on that real light line if that finesse bite becomes a thing. That's on one of the Fate rods as well. And I've got 3 Omens set up here. One of them with, the last time I was at Wivenhoe, this was my money bait, the Eco Gear ZX. And I was fishing that vertically under the boat in about 30 to 35 feet of water. So that was the bacon saver at the Queensland Open when we were at Wivenhoe last time. So I'm going to take that one along there. That's on a braid leader setup for cracking it under the boat. I have got here, this was going into the archives. That is an old jackal mask. One of the few jackal masks I've got left at the moment. So, but if they're eating little bonies and they're going to be near the bottom, hopping a mask is always a pretty good way to do it. It's on the old Revelry and the 13 Fishing Omen rod. But what I'm really excited about is here, this bait here. So Dan Stead dropped a few of these in earlier in the week. That's like a 5/8 of an ounce head there. It's a duo bait. You might be able to focus on that, but there we go. See, it's got those sort of wings on the head and it's a very sort of stick-like tail. I'm going to show you exactly what this bait is, and I'm going to put in the cutaway what it does underwater. Dan was very excited when he showed us this bait because when we bass fish, we have a lot of ways of getting a lot of vertical up and down in the retrieve. Like we can rip it to get up in the water column, we can sink it, but it's hard to get the side-to-side stuff going on. So these are the baits here. They're made by Duo in Japan. These are the heads. They're called the Bay Ruf, R-U-F, Bay Ruf BR heads. So they've got that sort of winged head on them. And there's a few different sizes here. There's some 12 grams. I've got some, what's that there, 7 grams, some lighter ones, some 9 grams. all the different sizes there. But what happens is when you like walk the dog under the water with these heads, they go side to side. You get a really pronounced side-to-side action, and I'm thinking that these fish in these lakes for the last 30 years have seen up and down actions. They haven't seen the side-to-side stuff. So they're the heads, and these are the tails. From what Dan told me, you've got to rig these the tails one way. You've got to rig them with the one of the side. I think it's the curved side's got to be up, and it'll give you that side-to-side action. If you rig them upside down on the flat side on the bottom, you don't get that action on there. So pre-fish day is going to be all about finding out how to fish those bay roughs and seeing if I can trigger some of those fish, because guaranteed I'll find schools in Somerset, not guaranteed I'm going to be able to catch them. Dan tells me that these are actually on order at the moment, so if they work out well, you'll be able to get them as well. Probably a couple of months away, distributed by Wilson's, all of that Duo stuff. So there's some interesting baits that I'm going to try as well. Apart from all my regular bass stuff I've got there, I've also got a bit of a selection of the stuff that some things I got in Japan earlier that I thought might be worth a try on Somerset and Ivanhoe. So some of them are, and all of these were just out of second-hand or specials been in Japan, but that's a Tiemco, like a red pepper crankbait. This one actually was from the wall in the tackle room. That's an Arashi 10-footer. I think one of a non-boater champ from Richmond River was using one of those, so I've thrown one of them in. Bass like it, I'm for that. This is a Gancraft crankbait. Might look like a little barred grunter, which everything in the lake seems to eat. Also, I've got, what other things have I got? I've got a couple of blade style lures here. You know, if they don't look like little bonies, I'd have to eat them myself. So there you go, there's a couple of little vibration baits. If they're shallow and eating gar, I've got a couple of little glides in there. That's a second-hand Gancraft, that one there. That's a Depths, some of the little swim baits there. So I'm going to try a couple of those maybe. How much does this look like? Maybe a little bony brim, little vibration bait that, you know, everything's seen a T in 60 and 70. This one might, that's a Jewel, that brand there. And I found a couple of little jerk baits. This one here is an Imakatsu. It's basically exactly the same as a topwater, but with a deep diving bill on it. So if we get live scoping in the shallows, some of those deep diving jerk baits, I'm not even sure what that brand is. It might be an Evergreen or something like that. Might try that. A few little crankbaits and a couple of tiny spoons. They're eating micro bait fish. That's a smallest wasabi spoon there for reference. So a couple of little tiny ones there to see if they go on the small side. I did have a good small spoon bite down at Blue Rock earlier in the year. So that's the Japanese box, and it goes together with my crankbait box, my jerkbait box, my topwater box, jig box, lipless crankbait box, and big deep crankbait box. Now this is one of the things that I've borrowed of Mitch Petty. I don't have any big long crankbait rods, and when when you're throwing big crankbaits and long lining crankbaits up there, you want to do it with things like this, that Rapala DT20. Well, they take some throwing and they take some winding. And I've got some near 8-foot rods here that I borrowed from Mitchy. They're these ones here. And he has got some proper size reels to crankbait them with. So this is one of the Omen Defy Blacks. It is 7'9" long with one of their concept 13 fishing reels on it. But check it out, straight through 12-pound fluorocarbon is going to get that thing super deep. Big handle to crank it in and big long rod so you can double hand throw these forever. Because dead set, long lining is not for me, I don't think. I think I'm going to be throwing with the wind and winding it to get it down. So Mitchy's let me a couple of his rods there. And on some of the other rods, interesting, I've had actually good success before in Somerset and Ivanhoe on really long jerk baits. That's a really old, I think it's either, that's probably Lucky Craft Stacy, that one. I've had, like, there's a lot of gar in these lakes, so if the gar bite's there, I'll definitely throw that jerk bait. I've caught probably more in Somerset and Ivanhoe than on that jerk bait. But this one here, anyone who's watched my Somerset highlights, I've caught plenty of fish on the edges on that guy there. It's a discontinued Rapala. I don't even know what it's called. It's a Max Wrap Fat Shad 5. I've got that on some 16 pounds straight through fluorocarbon on the 13 fishing combo. So I can guarantee that is going to get a throw at some stage during the next week. So that's sort of bass aside. Spin gear's ready. Bait cast gear's getting there. Got a couple more bait cast reels to go. I'll put those on some more fishing, 13 fishing rods I've got there. But let's get into, while we're talking about Rapala, pretty sure you've heard about the trophy hunters. And at the recent Brim tournament maybe last weekend, I picked up my 4th one of those. So I picked up a 75 centimetre flathead on this lure here, the Creeper. So that, fishing for brim, caught a flathead. That's over the Rapala Trophy Hunter's length. I've got my barra, a 104 centimetre barra. Caught that one on the newly released the heavy hitter 5.5 inch. So I've got that there. On my social media a few weeks ago, I would have showed you the big tailor that I got, so a 63 centimetre tailor. There's that badge there, and that was the bait that it ate, the 4-inch heavy hitter on a 1/2 ounce jig head. And my brim, I've got a 41 centimetre brim on this one, the light crank. So there's the brim badge. So, you know, as always, there's 17, I think, badges to collect. So I've got 4 of those so far. And mate, if you catch them on a Rapala lure, just download the app, it's free to enter, and you go in the draw to win plenty of tackle at the end of the year. So that's cool. Thirdly, Barra Tour's coming up. We launched it on ABT Live during the week. I do the hard lifting in the Barra Tour. Get together all the rods, the reels, the braid, the leader, tie all the FGs, the lures. Nicole, my teammate, she does good lunches, especially at Faust. And she does all the bright lights. So we've got some Barra Tour shoes. Barra Tour, you know, it's half at night. Check them out. Here's the new boat shoes. Nice soft soles for Barra Tour. If I fall in and I'm upside down, people are going to find me. Got both of the navigation light colours. It's got purple for if you think you're in a nightclub. Yellow for I don't know what. Some sort of crazy blue. Pink. White. You know, white shoe brigade. But then if you catch yourself a limit, I reckon, bang, you're on a party mode. That's it. I reckon that's the limit colour. So, Nicole, thanks for that. You're contributing to the Barra Tour, and look forward to getting these things going in all those colours, because that's the party colour. That's the limit colour, right? During the year, that's it. Is there anything else I need to talk about on Tackle Fridays? I went out and picked up prize boats during the week. I got the 2nd prize boat there, headed up to Min Repairs. So the 115 Mercs on those Alloy Craft boats, they're going to do the trick. I think that's it. The sun is going down. It's Friday afternoon. I'm half organised. And if I can go live, I will go live at the Bass tournaments next week.